All right, let's start with mantra. Let me project. Om Vang me manasi pratisthita mano me vachi pratishthitam aviravirma edhi vedasyama anistha shrutam me ma prahasi anena dhitena horatran samdadhami ritam vadishyami satyam vadishyami tanmamavadhu tadvaktaram avadhu avadhu mam avadhu vaktaram avadhu vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So today is hymn number 4 from Mandala 3. This is a famous type of hymns which is called Apri Sukta. You can see it here, Apri Sukta. Every rishi has major rishi. From each mandala you will find one Apri Sukta. And it has a particular format. We spoke about this before when we studied it in Mandala 2, Mandala 1. Yes, we looked into Apri Suktas before. It's a specific format of the Vedic culture. So here we have different godheads involved in the same manner in each hymn. So it shows us that there was the same tradition. So it starts with kindling the fire, then he is invoked as Tanu Nalpat, as the son of force or the extension, or sometimes as Narashansa. Then we have number 3, Ila, then 4, Barhis, then 5, Devi Dvara, then Ushasana Akta, usually the same order. Yes? Ushasana Akta, the dawn and the night. Divya Hota, the 2 Hotars, divine Hotars, or 2 divine invokers. We will speak about them if we come today to this number 7. And then 3 rivers, 3 heavenly rivers, 3 goddesses, Saraswati, Ila, Bharati, or rather Ila, Saraswati, Bharati, or Mahi, then Tvashta, then Vanaspati, and then Swaha, dedicated to Swaha. So basically the same format. Let's start with the first verse. Samit sumanach bodhi asme shucha sumatim rasi basvach adeva devan yajathaya vakshi sakha sakhin sumana yakshi Agni. You see that there is sandhya taking place by tradition, but when we want to undo, so to say, to reveal the rhythm, the chandas, the meter of the verse, and this is Drashtup, then we need to undo sandhis. That tells us something, that sandhis came later by tradition. Yeah? When they were reciting hymns, the sandhis were introduced. But in the Vedic times, sandhis were not considered to be the major part of reading of the verse.
What is a sandhi?
The connection, like Yakshi Agni here, and you have Yakshi Agni. So I plus A gives Ya. So we lose one syllable because we lose one vowel. Vowel is always a syllable. It builds a syllable in the meter. So when we lose the syllable and lose the vowel, we lose the syllable, we break the meter. In the classical Sanskrit and epic Sanskrit, if you take Mahabharata or Ramayana, you will see that sandhis are becoming part of the meter. Yeah, I'm speaking this to the Sanskrit students more than to maybe to others also. It is interesting that the part of the meter, that means all the sandhis are already kind of incorporated into the meter. Yes, they don't break the meter. So you have to read with sandhis there. Everything, all the changes, sandhi changes are part of the meter, but not in the Veda. In the Veda, it's just the opposite. Yeah? Sandhis are not part of the meter. That tells us that it is much older text, before sandhis were introduced by grammarians and classical Sanskrit. Okay. Now I'm done with this. So samit samit, a flame and again a flame. Sri Aurobindo translates. Samid, it's from root id, to kindle, some totally, totally kindle, a flame and again a flame in us. Awake with thy truth of mind, bodhi, sumana. Sumanah, with perfect mind, body, awake. Awake in us with the perfect mind, heart. Oh, sorry, I'm reading mine. A flame and again a flame in us, awake with thy truth of mind. With light upon light, grant us right understanding from the Shining One. Shucha, shucha, sumatim rasi vasva. So beautiful. Samit samit sumana bodhi asme shucha shucha sumatim rasi vasva. You feel this royal rhythm of the verse. So, with light upon light, grant us a right understanding from the Shining One, Vasvach, or literally of the Vasu. And Vasu is actually the luminous dweller within the substance. It is the first avatar who came and settled within the inconscient and started the journey back to the divine. So, Adeva Devanya Jathaya Vakshi. O God, bring the gods for the sacrifice. Right-minded. A friend, do sacrifice to the friends of fire. Sakha Sakhin Sumanach, right-minded Sumanach, with perfect mind, or with thy truth of mind. Sri Aurobindo, you see, the same Sumanach he translates two different ways. With thy truth of mind first time, and the second time right-minded. Why? Because manas is manas, mind, and su is perfect. And this is the compositor which tells us that the one has a perfect mind. Or beautiful mind. Or actually sumanas, sumati is used, you see, sumanach first time, sumati second time, sumanach 3 times. Is used here is something which relates to the supramental mentality, to the highest possible correspondence of power and knowledge. We spoke about this not once, most probably. Sumati is the result of pramati and anumati. Pramati is moving forward with intention, invoking, so to say, aspiring, calling, moving forward your thought. Anumati is the grace which answers to this call. Anumati Anumanta, Sri Aurobindo is using in his Integral Yoga Anumanta as the one who gives sanction, the sanctioner, answers to our call. And Sumati is something which is the result of both. Yeah, it is that perfect mentality which measures our call, our need, and the answer. It is some kind of realization which takes place in both sides, from our side of the embodied state we call to the divine help, and the divine help answering to our call. So Adeva, Devan, Adeva, or sort of literally onto Odeva, gods, Yajatchaya Vakshi, bring for the sacrifice. Vakshi, bring from root Vach. Sakha, Sakhin, the friend, the friends. Sumanach, perfect in the mind. Yakshi, sacrifice, or Agni. Awaken us with the perfect mind, and I'm adding here, it can be perfect heart, perfect intention, because manas, if you look into the dictionary, in the Vedic meaning, it can be many things. It can be intention, also heart, because manas is born from the heart, you know. Tasya hridayam nirabhidyata hridayan mano manasas chandrama. His heart broke forth from his heart, mind, manas, from the manas, chandrama, the moon was born. So in the ancient vision, manas is not located in the brain. Yeah? It is more the heart function. Later in Sankhya borrowed this idea and made manas as the sixth sense, made it as a sense mind. Mind which operates by senses, by vital indriyas. So it's located in the heart, interestingly. Brain is something else. It's most probably in Sankhya will be buddhi. Buddhi is more in the brain, yeah, in the head. And manas is in the heart. But this is Vedic paradigm. Later, as things change. So, awaken us with the perfect mind, heart, intention. I add intention, it's important. This is the will, the free will of the mind. This manas gives us a free will. At every kindling, pure again and again, grant us the perfect mentality of the luminous dweller within the substance. Bring to us, O God, the gods for the sacrifice. Sacrifice of friend, the friends with perfect mentality, O Agni. Sacrificing the friends sacrificing the friends, the god sacrificing the gods. This is the idea of the Veda. If we get it, we get everything else. So the god sacrifices here the gods, the friend sacrifices here the friends. Who sacrifices me? He is nourishing me, says the Taitiriya. Yoma dadati saideva mabaha. Ahamannamannamadhantamadmi. I am the matter which consumes the eater of matter. I am the food which consumes the eater of food. This is the divine being. So anyone who sacrifices the divine is actually increasing his presence here.
I have a quick little question here.
Sure.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's confusing me a bit. Because when you say anyone who sacrifices the divine, so what does that mean? Because sacrifice to me is like giving.
Sacrifice is not only giving, it's a double process, and my mother describes this beautifully. So the divine sacrificed himself to us, for us, to learn how to give ourselves back to the divine. So this is a double process. In the Veda, we see this first part, the divine gives, God, Agni, bring here the gods. Why here? Why the gods have to be brought here? What's this all about? It's kind of punishment for the gods. They don't want to come to the material world. They are not interested to be in this narrow framework and suffocating framework of the material existence. But the divine will, Agni, is always bringing them down. By his command, they come down. And when they come down, they bring with themselves this vastness and purity and luminosity of the higher consciousness. And that consciousness transforms our narrow, unregenerated way of existence. For them, it's a very tough process. It's not something they want to do or like to do. It is Agni, as the divine will in us, as this Yajamana within the heart, or our psychic being, needs the help in transforming our outer nature. So and this is what we discussed in our gathering yesterday, but it didn't come to this. But truly speaking, when the call is happening and the answer is coming not only to the psychic flame, it actually comes to the whole nature, to the mental, vital, and physical, and you feel it there descending. And this descent is actually transformative. But who is calling? The Yajamana is calling. The flame within the heart is commanding, invoking, aspiring for this to happen. Psychic by itself rather, because it has no gender, by itself cannot transform nature. It can start first the stage of transformation, psychic transformation. Yes, it influences our mental processes, vital processes, physical even. We become more psychicized, more subtle, more receptive of the divine presence. But as we read, only Shakti from above can transform. So this Shakti from above are these gods. It is her powers. In the Veda, these are the gods, the godheads who come down. That means Shakti comes down with particular purpose or function. Each god has a particular function or presence. Sri Aurobindo says Shakti can bring peace, bliss, knowledge, yes? And these are the names of the gods in the Veda. Varuna comes like vastness and purity, and felt as an extension of consciousness, widening the consciousness. Mitra comes as luminosity and harmony and to a certain extent joy, but different joy of knowledge. Whereas Bhaga brings intensity of ananda, bliss. Aryaman, when he descends, he brings the power, the sense of power and the almightiness. And all these are kind of real things. We experience them, but we never name them in that way.
Thank you.
Yeah, got carried away, but happily carried away.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I wanted to just be very
Please
clear.
interrupt. Every time there is something to explore. As Kinshak says, I'm speaking to myself.
It's a delight for us.
He found the way to explain it finally. He thinks to himself. He forgot that beer there, yes. And then he woke up and everybody is gone.
So, Ladime, our sacrifice to the gods is our transformation of our nature and opening up to the divine.
Why, yes. The other part, the sacrifice of the gods, that's what Agni does and what Rigveda is about. That's why it's a direct object. When we sacrifice, we say Vishnu Yajati, yes? He sacrifices Vishnu, direct object. But we translated he sacrifices to Vishnu. Why do we do this? Because we can't imagine that someone sacrifices Vishnu here. It would be too much to imagine. In our egoistic perception, we give something to the divine. So, and that's why we translate we sacrifice to Vishnu with a direct object, like accusative case. But truly speaking, we are sacrificing Vishnu. We bring Vishnu's presence into the lower way of living. And he, with his luminosity, starts changing our way of being. So there are two ways. One is to bring the divine presence, yes? And the other is to offer from our side. When we call, we offer. The call in the offer is the same verb, juhoti, yes? Juhoti from here, hotar, the one who is summoning the gods, and that is Agni. Agni is calling the gods by what? He is offering them something for work. Work, that offering is for them a work. Well, that's what they have to transform. We are offering part of ourselves, part of our nature for transformation. We give our egoistic way of being away to the divine transformation. And that is considered by egoistic being very painful. That's why sacrifice is painful. Yes? Because I have to give up something I like. Yeah, I like ice cream and I have to give up. This is very, very difficult for the egoistic being, but not for the divine. Yeah? If you look at how Sri Aurobindo speaks about sacrifice, it's so different, so beautiful. I have somewhere a quotation. He says it's not a mutilation. It's just bringing more delight into existence. Yeah? It's just different view on the sacrifice. It's making our life sacred. How to make life which is mundane, darkened, narrow, sacred, and divine. So this transformation is the sacrifice. And it requires both movements. We have to offer, to call, and they have to take it and transform it. Mother describes this very beautifully. She says that the fallen beings which we are in our surface nature, all these asuras, yes, what we are in our fallen nature, unconscious beings, they do not know how to give themselves. They never knew, they never could. So that's why they fell into the opposite. So the consciousness in light turned into the darkness, yeah, the bliss turned into the suffering, the truth turned into the falsehood, and life, eternal life of the divine, turned into death. Why? Because they never did give themselves to the divine. They considered themselves to be the divine. And because of that, they fell into their opposite. They don't know love. They know only self-aggrandizing, self-assertion, self-survival, all those things which we promote in our life so much, especially in the Western tradition. Egoistic way of being. They do not know how to give themselves, how to love. And for that, the sacrifice, the second stage of creation was made. The Divine Mother gave herself. The Holocaust of the Divine Mother, or sacrifice of the Purusha, was done. The second stage, you remember Aitareya, when the Purusha was created and heated up and his faculties opened up. His mouth broke forth, from mouth speech, from speech fire, and so on. All of them plunged into the darkness, into the fallen ocean of inconscient, that very ocean which was created from the first creation, fallen emanations. And from there they started to teach, by their example of self-sacrifice, the fallen emanations to learn to give themselves. So asuras are learning how to really sacrifice themselves and come back to the divine prototypes, or to the divine origin of themselves. They have to recover their divine origins. So Mother says that it was given as an example to teach the fallen emanations, to teach our unconscious way of being, this joy of self-giving, joy of surrender. If they catch this joy, then they know how to give themselves, how to invoke the transformation. And here is the Yajamana, the psychic being within us, who is the center of that sacrifice. Yajamana, who is doing this for himself, for the divine. Without him, the sacrifice would not be possible at all, because they can't get it without the example, without the influence, without the call from within. They can't. So that's the role of the psychic. I made one more round. It should come all together in our mind. Once everything is settled, Veda becomes so interesting. You see things differently. All right. Yam devasah trir an ayajante dive varuno mitro agnih semam yajnam madhumantam kridhina tanunapat dhrita yonim vidhantam. Sorry, it's Ghrita Yonim. It's a misprint here. It's Dhrita and it is Ghrita. Dhrita Yonim doesn't make sense, but Ghrita Yonim Vedanta makes sense. O thou whom the gods, even Varuna, Mitra, and the fire thrice in the day worship with sacrifice from day to day, O son of the body, make this sacrifice of ours full of the sweetness, so that it may create the native seed of the light. Now, you see, we don't have one verse where sacrifice is not mentioned. Did you notice this? It's only about this, only about the transformation of our nature by the divine presence. Whom the gods day by day approach for transformation, thrice a day, Varuna, Mitra, and Agni, make this sacrifice of ours full of honey, O son of extension, son of the body. I'm translating Tanunapat. Tanu is from Utan, to extend, to expand, to pull out in time and space. Son of extension. Extension introduces space and time, manifestation of some truth in time and space. He is the son of this extension. He is the force which is born from this extension and who makes this extension possible. The luminous container worshipping the gods. Ghrita Yonim, or literally can be translated as whose container is full of the luminosity of the mind, luminous mind, Garita. This verse is a bit difficult because Vedhantam, the word worshipping, worshipping the gods in this case is like praising or like refashioning their positions or something, reestablishing reactivating their presence. And that is worshipping. Interesting, I found another way to say what worship is, yeah? Reactivating the presence of the powers. It's worshipping. It makes sense why we worship. We want to reactivate the presence of these powers in us.
Why thrice a day? Why not more?
Well, the day has morning, day, middle day, and the evening, and then we go to sleep. Maybe in the sleep, yes, since you have a sleep course of conscious sleep, there must be a fourth time somewhere. If we can, in fourth time, in the night, in the sleep, do this, I think that would be a very powerful thing. And some of us tried to do this, at least I did. And I must say, if it is happening, it has an effect for weeks and weeks. You can feel that effect. If we could do it in the night by sleeping, remembering by sleeping, then it's a big, big shift. Yeah, you're right.
Actually, in the Record of Yoga, Volume 2, I think, Sri Aurobindo talks about how he does the sadhana in the night. You know, the different stages of so-called stages of sleep that we say are the different stages of going deeper into the samadhi or the trance at night, consciously. And he talks about his experiences and how he does it in the Record of Yoga.
We need to look into it. I don't remember exactly because most
I was reading it,
important.
didn't understand anything, but it was too high, spiritually.
Would be nice to, but even if we if we don't do this in the night, let us do it at least twice a day.
Yes.
Even once a day is good already. In the morning. Of course, before going to sleep, we do something like this. Yeah, it's in many traditions. In Christian also, when before going to sleep, you pray at the bed to the divine. Yes, and only in Christian tradition we are having very strange way of. I think it is inherited from the Old Testament. This idea of being grateful for what it is received. It's not self-giving, it's more receiving with gratitude, yeah? It's not bad, it's a part, it's a half of the process, what has to be done. We need also to give ourselves, rather than to be thankful for what we receive, this food of today and so on. But whenever I hear this, thanking God for giving us, as if we are egoistic being on this side and He is there, Almighty, gives us something, supports our sustenance here as we are, without us being transformed, that part is somehow forgotten. The gratitude is still remembered, which is important, but the other part of offering ourselves to the divine is not very much highlighted. Every time I hear Christian mantras, prayers, I think about it. So now I shared it with you. Just think about it yourself and bring your thoughts, especially Selby. Selby has some thoughts about it and more knowledge about it. You see also, Selby, yes, that there is a kind of difference between the Vedic. The Vedic has part of Christianity in it, and at the same time, it has emphasis on something else.
I don't know if you want me to talk about this now or wait till later.
Yeah, tell something else. Would be
Okay.
lovely.
I actually disagree. I think that that Christianity is exactly the Vedic sacrifice, but it's been misinterpreted through time. I mean, it just incredible. Every time you explain the Vedic sacrifice, I understand it more. But I think that is exactly, at least in the Catholic Church, that is exactly what the Mass is, the sacrifice. And it's understood in different metaphors, but I really think that's what it's all about. And I think that these layers that you're talking about of gratitude or of remaining egoistic, that's not the true teaching of the church. If you really dig deep, if you go with the mystics, somehow I have to explain all this because it's burning inside me.
Very nice. With the mystics, yes. When you come to Christian mystics, I agree with you totally. I meant more like ordinary way of, ordinary way of looking in the Veda also. The Brahmanism is very different. Yes, it's always receiving the gift. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a more transactional view of God.
Mhm.
You know, I give you this, you give me that.
Right.
But I think the mystic tradition is the truth, more closer to the truth. And sometime I really want to go into this because the elements of the sacrifice of that you explain in the Veda is exactly the truth that can be explained, but not always explained in the Mass, where the priest is standing in for Jesus. The bread on the altar is Jesus. We are adding our sacrifice to that during the Mass. It is offered to Jesus. It's very much the same idea. It just, you have to dig deep into Christianity to get to that level of understanding, but it's there.
Yes. In the deeper sense, of course, Christianity is very close, especially to the Veda, more to the Veda than in the post-Vedic literature. It's kind of interesting. I found it also more corresponding to the Rigveda and the sacrifice and the flame and the sun. The flame is the sun who is here to save his father, and all this, the kingdom of heaven on earth, all these ideas. Only through me you can come to my Father. All these, because Jesus is like in the heart of every man. It says that presence of the divine, the only Son of God. Yeah, that is psychic flame. That is the only Son of God. There is no other Son. Yeah, who is here doing the work, and the work is the sacrifice. And he gave himself to the humanity and to transform it. Yeah, to transform. Shibenu says Jesus on the cross transformed the whole barbaric Europe, and made it closer brought it closer to the understanding of compassion and love and brotherhood. It made a big transformation with peoples of Europe. Yes, this is the sacrifice. Yes, Kinshuk, since we discussed it.
Yeah, sorry, just few minutes. So I just want to be a little more clear about Agni's role as a messenger during this whole process. Messenger in the sense of what? Carrying something or communicating?
Right. He is Duta, yes? Well, we already looked
Right.
it's from another verse, yes? We have to look into the verse. It's always better where Duta is used, and then we will see the relations, yeah? Otherwise, He is the messenger of the gods, as it is translated, yeah. A messenger of the divine, let us say better this way. He, as psychic being, is the messenger of the divine, as Jesus is the messenger of his Father. He is here to bring the connection. And that's Duta. Duta does the connection. He brings the word, the speech to others to know what is coming. In that sense.
Okay.
Our surface has to be kind of ready for his action afterwards, because we are in time. And in time, things do not happen just like that. The preparation is to be made before the transformation is taking place. Yeah?
Okay.
Most probably that's why Duta is important. The same idea of Radha. Radha is something which carries, over the spaces to some other space or place where the the light of the divine consciousness is not yet established. So to carry it from one place where it is totally at home to another place where it is not at home, there has to be some kind of transition, some kind of vehicle, Radha. And this is the image of the Veda, that all the gods are moving in their own chariots with horses, which are very swiftnesses of the spirit, and they bring them into the environment which requires the change. But if there would be no transition, so Radha or swiftness, in time and space, how would they reach to us? So they would have to transform everything else on the way to come to us, yeah? But that is not the case. They come to us without transforming everything on the way.
Also, yeah, I get it. Also, I felt one more thing. This Tanuna Pada is closely related to the word Twana, or the body, or the whatever. And I get this feeling that somehow the gods have to take a body in this place before anything more can happen. That means they have to embody themselves. Is this right thinking?
I think so. And Mother says they have to, yes, that's what Agni does. He brings these forces. Agni embodies all these forces. It is through him that they come into action, yes? We think that they come kind of, but it is by him and through him, and he is, in the highest sense, he is all of them. Yes? He is the divine. But here, as a spark, as a small flame, as separate from the source, as it were, yes, he invokes them and bridges the gap. They come. So Tanu is the extension in time and space, which we represent as bodies. And they have to come into time and space, into our bodies. If you look at, we spoke about this, yes, our body as an extension of time, not only of space.
That also explains certain things about density, which was said in some other verse. There's a densification or something of that sort. I'm just trying to relate many things together. Sorry.
No. It's not, we need to clarify these things in order to proceed with conscious reading of the Veda. And you see, all this knowledge is coming from two sources. First of all, Sri Aurobindo gives all the keys, of course, and we have to study him again and again and review again, because there is always something fresh and very, very special. It gives us some kind of experience, understanding deeper than just mental understanding. And the other source is language itself. Sanskrit, Vedic Sanskrit, roots, simple roots, which give us the idea, simple idea. With keys of Sri Aurobindo and his experience and ours, we can put together something like a glimpse of understanding. Of course, it's not a final and it's not the deep as it is in the Vedic terms, yeah? But it is still a proximity towards this truth. Okay. Did I read the whole? Yes, I did. Okay, whom the gods day by day approach by, for transformation thrice a day. Yeah, thrice a day we discussed. Make the sacrifice of ours full of honey, madhumantam yajnam riddhi, or son of extension, the luminous container worshipping the gods. Ghrita yonim vidahantam. Make this sacrifice redistributing the gods or reactualizing their presence as luminous container for the mind. They have ways of translating this Ghrita yonim vidhantam madhumantam yajnam karidhi. Make the sacrifice full of honey, or you, the creation, the extension power, make it as the luminous container of the mind, reactualizing the presence of the gods. This is beautiful. Sacrifice is actualizing the presence of the gods. Vidhantam yajnam. You can see also Griffith's translation. I will not go into it. I put here the footnote for myself. Oh, it's Sri Aurobindo's, yes. Or the place that offers itself to become a luminous container. It's a very, very nice way to put it, yeah. Ghrita yonim, the place that offers itself, vidhantam, to become a luminous container. The sacrifice. The sacrifice is the place which offers itself to become a luminous container.
So, Vladimir, I have a thought that thrice a day, can it also be when we totally remember the divine in our physical, vital, and mental? Therefore, we are remembering him all the time during the day. That's how the transformation in us turns to honey and the container becomes luminous.
Thinking.
That's the thought.
Actually, trich ahan. There are two different words. Ahan in the day, thrice, literally thrice in the day. Can be that in the day, during the day, in three different thrice, triple, yeah. Do not know, but I like the idea, actually. Grammatically, thrice is usually related to the, as it is thrice, three times, yes? And not three places, not three levels. But maybe even that would be a great idea during the awakening on Agni. This is a locative case, Vedic. During the day, you ayajante, divaha ayajante, yam. Interestingly, it is whom the gods worship, whom the gods sacrifice 3 times a day. All the time, dive, so day by day. Varuna, Mitra, Agni, these 3 are mentioned many times, and especially in Apri Suktas, exactly these, Varuna, Mitra, Agni. Varuna is the vastness and purity of the divine existence. Mitra is luminosity of the divine consciousness. And Agni is the one who leads us forward. Agrenayati. He is the leader forward in time. Whom the gods sacrifice. Interesting, yeah? Or what the gods sacrifice here day by day, including Varuna, Mitra, and Naryaman. That sacrifice make full of honey. Some ideas with this?
Can I take this as worship in 3 different places, in the mind, in the heart, and in the throat, following the Prashna Upanishads places?
Most probably it's open to interpretation. There is no interpretation given. But thrice a day is there. I think it's more ritualistic, like morning, daytime, and when the sun is rising, sun is in the, and then sun is setting.
It could be in the waking consciousness, and O son of the body. The appeal is to the son of the body. The prayer is to the son of the body. Even the gods worshipping with sacrifice to the son of the body. The son of the body to me is the psychic, who will make the sacrifice full of sweetness in order to create the light. The psychic being the Yajamana, he will make the sacrifice full of sweetness, and even the gods worship him with the sacrifice day to day.
But this can only happen when the being, the physical being, becomes more conscious and brings the psychic in the front with the help of Agni, by always realizing the divine in every thought, word, action throughout the day. Then the psychic awakes and comes in front.
Ideally, yes.
Yeah. So,
but this happens even without our knowledge.
Yeah.
The worship of the gods carries on, the sacrifice carries on, even whether we are conscious of it or not. And to me, the key phrase here is, O son of the body, because it's being addressed to the son of the body, O thou whom the gods, even so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so, thrice in the day worship with sacrifice. And then they address, O son of the body, make the sacrifice full of sweetness. So who is the son of the body? Looking at that, it seems that they are addressing the psychic being, offering the sacrifice.
Yeah,
in the waking consciousness.
Heart, yes.
That's where what Gita Shri said, in the waking consciousness, to do it consciously, maybe.
What came to me when we were discussing all this is this, that Sri Aurobindo views the time And the planes of consciousness on the same scale or on the parallel scale, as it were. When we speak about the Navagva rishis, rishis of 9 rays, he says these can be 9 levels of consciousness or 9 months. And this actually is always staying at the back of my mind, that time and space are somehow related in the mysterious way. Like the sun, when it rotates around, the earth rotates around the sun full circle, then we have the year. Yeah? And the year is the representative of the whole universe. Why? Because within this time frame, all the godheads and gods are participating in the sacrifice in their order. Yeah? And then we start another cycle, and that means the same set will be activated. Yeah? So nothing is left out from this fullness of time. So if I take the full day as the measurement of the fullness of participation of all the powers within the sacrifice, then most probably it can be mapped up on the levels of consciousness the same way. That's where I'm heading at. That the time and space are related in the sacrifice, through the sacrifice as the measurement of things. So in that sense, Gita Shri is right. Tries can be 3, the fullness of the day, or the fullness of our being. Yeah? And that means extension in that sense. Yes, Selma.
In the Hebrew tradition, they have in the temple, I believe, the morning and evening sacrifice. And in the Christian tradition, in addition to the Mass, let's say in the monastic setting, there's the liturgy of the hours, where literally every 3 hours during the whole 24, there's a time of prayer, which is a way of, they don't use the word divinizing, but making sacred the whole hours, all of the day. And I find that very interesting that you said that sacrifice and sacred are related, because I never would have thought of it that way. But they do have the phrase in Christianity, the sacrifice of praise, and that God wants not sacrifice of animals, but God wants sacrifice of praise and thanksgiving. So they do have the same, I can't think of the word that they use now. The praying every 3 hours has this effect on the whole day of making it sacred, but I can't remember the word that they use in that context.
Right. Okay, we can stop here. Making sacred full space, full time, full space in time, in this case, overlapping. And so it could be the triple existence of ours, the fullness of our manifestation in time, because all the devatas, which relate to our mind, vital and physical, are activated within this framework for the sacrifice. So sacrifice is a constant, ongoing evolution of consciousness, which cannot be stopped, which cannot be, postponed or anything of the kind. It is the power which is leading forward, whether we want it or not. We may only make difficult for ourselves if we resist. If we become too egoistic, it will be more disaster for us, more turmoils as we have it nowadays in the world, because the humanity is resisting. It wants to maintain its own small achievements, egoistic settlements, and this is not going to endure. It will be crushed. And the faster we understand, the better it will be for all of us, that we have to progress in consciousness and help everyone to grow in consciousness. All right, we can stop here for today. Only 2 verses, and then we will continue next time. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.